I felt educated. So relating to the different stories, the different testimonies, and then how he was breaking down the different like relationship types, and if you're the type that dates in this manner, then this means that, and that means the. I was like, oh, well, maybe that was me in this relationship, and that was my girlfriend Molly, and well, that was so, and I was able to really identify with this, very kind of scientific definition that categorized different ways in which we date and what that means. So there was kind of like a deeper clarity that came from having this different introspection, right? And having it come from a man. I thought that was incredibly profound, for how deep and how he really goes into his heart and professes and proclaims, and I mean, just everything. It was profound and educational and awakening. So I'm really enjoying it.
Cool.
I thought it was really refreshing, actually. I really identified with the idea of learning to love a person from the inside out instead of the outside in. Vish talks in the book about how, as a culture, American culture, our society, we tend to focus so much on the physical and and how we look, and everything's so external, and are you attracted to a person in the physical aspect of it. And I've only had a handful of relationships in my life, and they've all been friends first. I've never, I'm not usually attracted to someone until I actually really get to know them. But I have plenty of friends who date all the time and have had tons of relationships, and it is that mindset of, I have to go through these bad ones to get the good one, or how do I know what I want? And so just to have those words on the paper, I really identified with. I don't need that, and it's okay that I'm not designed that way. Like, I don't want to have a ton of relationships and be with a ton of people to try and figure out who I am. So, the last relationship I was in was about a year. We broke up in May of this year, and really, really left me wanting to sort of not be in a relationship a while, because it made me realize, and not out of anger, it wasn't a bad breakup. We just realized that we were not right for each other. We were just very different, which is okay, but it made me really want to be in a space where I could get to know myself better and really understand me and my wants and desires before being in the next relationship. And I think it's really common for women to try and find what they're missing in someone else. And so he talks about, being a whole person first, and when you're happy and content and really understand yourself, then that's the magnetism that attracts the right person. And so that just really, especially since I'm in a place where I just want to get in touch with that part of myself, like, it's perfect timing, I think, so.
Great.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a lot of relationship, but when I think about my relationship, I see myself, weren't I really busy to blame on the guy rather than really trying to find the reason inside of me. So for me, really, have ever I tried to find myself before trying to find a soulmate outside? So that was a really great message for me. And then that really helped me to appreciate my relationship right now.
Wow.
So good, yeah.
Really waiting to read the book. Like, I can't wait to see how it turns out. And so I was coming to it wanting to see how I would feel reading it now, trying to be someone neutral from the outside, but also interested for myself, because I did their program, and then for 2 years since then I actually haven't met my soulmate, and I haven't actually been dating. I've been so focused on career and that I know was right for me, and service, and I'm totally at peace with that. I know that was the right thing, and I'm actually right now like feeling like, okay, now it's time, and I feel totally ready, like in all levels. So this is perfect timing, because it will re-inspire me, and it really is. And so I was curious to see how engaged I would feel with it, considering I knew the content and how Vish presented it, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really enjoyed the way he made it conversational. The way he was like, so you say, Vish, what about this? And that was nice. And I do find it also really re-inspiring. especially talking about building the magnetism, like from a healing standpoint, personally, you know, I feel really healed from the past. And that's good. And I've had to do a healing. So it wasn't like I arrived healed, you know. I've had to go through healing and I've had to process the past and gain from relationships and breakup and everything. And so reading that part in the book that, you know, was kind of going, yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at it from the other side. When you feel like your heart has healed and you're looking at that information from that side and going, that is actually the most important thing to do, is to heal. Because when you heal, you know, then you do increase all the magnetism and the magnet within you. And then just the way it was presented, I also wondered, because this information is something I've been steeped in like most of my life, like yoga and the chakras and all of that. So I was interested to see how I would feel other people would be able to get on board with that, seeing as that's like familiar language to me. And I felt like it was really accessible. You know, I mean, I really felt like anyone could read that who didn't have a yoga background and could start to relate and go, oh, okay, so kind of, yeah, I get what those yogis are talking about with the prana and the chakras. It was just like, it wasn't overwhelming with that. You know, it was just enough to be usable. It was like usable. I love the personal stories. I didn't know some of those, and those were interesting. I always really like picked up on those. Yeah. I always do. You know, those are always like the personal content of anything is always what gets me the most.
Anything particular?
Not really particular. I mean, your story, of course, always, I could read that again and again, but especially knowing them too. And when you see them interact with each other, it's really funny, you know, to know the story behind it, because they're really cute together. And know that there was a time when you actually didn't like Vish. And you were mad. He was coming on with all his, you know, soulmate jargon and stuff. That was good. The one, I'm trying to recall into it.
So we can come back to it.
Yeah, we can come back to it. It's got a whole little stories buzzing.
That's one of the reasons why we really were curious to have you in the focus group, is just to see that perspective. You've experienced it,
Yeah.
but now to see it in the book.
Yeah, and it was
justice.
still inspiring to me. You know, it's like it's still, I like those other dimensions of it. Those going, yeah, that's really true, and that's really good. And I love the quotations in there, like the inspirational quotations. They're really beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome.